That's why I like talking to folk who can testify it ain't always been good. Thank you, real folk in the church today who ain't always ate breakfast with Jesus. Thank you, seasoned saints who can tell stories that you've had to fight and you've had to go through the storms to get to what you have today. In fact, that's why you ought to be careful with wanting what other folk have. You need to tell your neighbor this, and this ain't cussing. You need to tell them you don't know the hell I've been through. So y'all looking saved and sanctified, but somebody's been to hell and back, got the t-shirt and the mug to prove it. Baby, don't get it twisted. These clothes you see and this hair on my head, and y'all don't understand. I've been to hell but I made it. Here's my point of this first movement. Dead places don't have to define who you are. Spiritually, physically, but spiritually, some of us have been in dead places. Dead prayer life. Anybody ever been there before in your life? Sometimes you didn't pray until your back was against the wall. I've been there before. Some of us prayed them jailhouse prayers. God, if you just get me out of this. I need 5 people to wave at me if that's ever been you. And as soon as he brought you out, 5 minutes later, you're right back in to where he brought you out. Dead prayer life. God, get me the job, and I promise I'll praise your name. He gave you the job, you show up for a week, and we don't see you no more. Dead. Come on, say preach, Pastor. Y'all were just shouting a minute ago. Dead passions. We get more excited about football games. But when the preacher tells you to stand up and give God praise, you sit as if God hadn't done. Dead places will have you sitting on a God who's been good to you. That's why sometimes you gotta tell your neighbor, baby, next Sunday don't sit by me, because this row represents miracle. This row you sitting on, these are crazy folk who should have been dead. And so when the pastor say, give God praise, if you on this row, you gonna look back over your life. Y'all sit down, because I'm trying to. Your passion should need an organ to get you happy. This choir's off the chain, but even if they didn't show up today, God has been good to us. But some people sit on God, whoo, as if God hadn't done anything for you. He's in a dead place. But here's another one, and y'all don't leave on this one. Notice letter B, though. But not only was he in a dead place, but watch this. He was around dead people. It's one thing from a place to be jacked up. But it's another thing to be in a dead place with a bunch of dead people. He's in a place with a bunch of people who ain't going nowhere. You know why? They're dead. Ask your neighbor why you're in a cemetery. Come on, ask them, why are you in a cemetery with a bunch of folk who ain't going nowhere? Why you with somebody who's sucking up your heat and drinking your Kool-Aid? Ain't going nowhere. Hanging out with folk. It's always gossip, always down at somebody, always talking about what ain't good. Why you hanging around folk? People ain't going nowhere. I wish I had somebody in the room today who can say, in 2016, I refuse to hang around anybody. Let me be real with y'all. On my own, I can do enough damage to myself. I don't need you in my life to throw a pity party. I'm throwing enough pity parties myself. Grab that neighbor by the hand. Tell him, I need you in my life so when I have my pity parties, you can tell me to trust God and but believe on God and depend on God. I need somebody